Okay, so hello everyone. This is part 2 of our DSA with JavaScript playlist. Okay, so in last video we have discussed about data structure. I have given the introduction about the data structure. Means data structure we can divide into two category. So what is the first one? First one is primitive. Okay, and the second one is non-primitive. Okay, and so in non-primitive, as I already told you, we have two types of data structure. One is linear, okay, and another is non-linear. Okay. So what is linear data structure? So linear data structure, as I told you, array is a linear data structure. Okay. Stack is a linear data structure. Queue is a linear data structure. Okay. And one more is what we can say linked list. Okay. So this is what linear data structure. And if we talk about non-linear, so tree is an example of non-linear data structure. Graph is an example of non-linear data structure. And we have one more, which is hash map. Okay, so these are the example of non-linear data structure. Okay, so in today's video, we are discuss about linear data structure. And inside the linear data structure, we will discuss about array data structure. Okay, so let's see. So when we talk about array, so what is array? So I hope you already know what is array. Array means linear data structure. Okay. So array is a linear data structure. It can store the data in sequential manner. Okay, like this. Okay. Suppose you have to store some data. So you can store in this array like 10, 20, 30 and 40 like this. Okay. So what is the use of this array? For example, there is a WhatsApp application. Okay. For example, you are using WhatsApp application on your mobile. Okay. On your mobile, you are using WhatsApp, and what you are doing? You are doing chat. Okay. So if you are doing chat, so means chat is also your data. For example, this is one element, second element, third element, and fourth element. These elements are nothing but you are sending message and this is a reply. So how this data will store? So this data will store in which data structure? This data we can store in the linear data structure, or we can use array to store this data. Okay, so means this message one will store here, and the reply we will store here. Okay, and another message we will store here. Okay, and another message we will store here. Okay, and each message is having its indexing 0, 1, 2 and 3 like that. I'm giving a simple example. Okay, so what we are going to learn throughout this video. Okay, so it is not like we will learn this everything on whiteboard only. We will do the code, but what actually we are going to do, let me tell you. First of all, okay, so let's see what is the agenda of today's video. Okay, so the agenda is we will learn how to create an array, create an array. Okay, so we will learn how we can create an array, and the second thing we will learn element insertion. Okay, means how we can insert an element in array. In element insertion. Okay, so how we can insert elements in array in different ways, like for example, we will try to insert element directly. Okay, and after that we will learn like how you can insert element with push method. We will learn how to insert an element with indexing. Okay, how we can insert an element using prompt. Okay, and we will learn how we can insert an element with like what we can say input. Okay, we will create input field and we will try to insert element using the input field. Okay, so let's do these things. Okay, first let's create an array and then try to insert the elements in array. Okay, so what I will do basically, first of all I'll create one folder on my desktop. Okay, so here is my desktop. Here what I will do, I'll go to the new and I'll create one folder and the folder name is DSA. And here I will write, I'll create one more folder here and the folder name is test1. Okay. I'm writing folder name is test1 and I'll go inside this folder. Okay. And what I will do, I will search VS Code. Okay. You should have VS Code if you're learning data structure. So if you will implement the data structure, so means you should have one code editor. Okay. So VS Code is nothing but code editor and it provides the extension supports and it provides the execution environment. So that's why we use like this, what we can say, VS Code, code editor. So now what you have to do, just click on file and go to the open folder, and here on desktop as you can see we have DSA and test1 and just select this folder. Okay, so now your test1 folder is there. What I will do, I'll create here one file. What is my file name? Index.html. Okay, so why do we create index.html? Because index.html file can be recognized by the server automatically. When no file, when server come into the to this location, and so suppose there are five files or more than five files are there at this location. Location means in this test folder. So it will choose index.html. So just remember it. Okay. So what I will do here I will write JavaScript in HTML. So I will use HTML boiler template. Okay. And here we are learning array data structure. Okay. So we are going to learn about array data structure. And what I will do here, I will create one script tag. Okay. So inside the script tag, we will write the code. Okay. So let me just press enter because we don't have much need of this. Okay, here we will write our JavaScript. So here we are going to start our JavaScript. So first what we have to do, first we will create an array. So how you will create an array? So in order to create an array, you will write here a keyword. Okay. So which keyword we use in order to create the array? So we can use let keyword or we can use where keyword. Okay. So I'll choose here let keyword and I will give the array name. For example, ARR. Okay. And this is equals to, and this is how we create the array. Okay. And if you want to insert the element inside this array, so what you can do, you can insert elements like this 10, 20, 30, 40. Like this you can insert. Okay. So if you will write console.log, okay, if you will write console.log and if you will write here ARR, what it will do, it will basically display your all elements. Whatever elements are there in this array, it will display all the elements. So let me just open live server. Okay, I do have one extension called live server. So I will use this extension. So it is opening my text.html file on browser, but you will see there is no code. What I will do, I'll just right click and I'll go to the inspect Okay, and here is the console. Let me just refresh it. So here we are getting this array. So let me just make it side by side. So here we are printing this array. Okay. And one more thing, you can insert the element. You can insert the element using what? Like using indexing. So each element having its own index. For example, this 10 is the index is 0 and 20 is 1. This is 2 and this is the 3. Okay. And if we talk about the length of this array, what is the length of this array? So if we talk about length, so what is the length? Length means total how many elements are there. So total there are 4 elements. So indexing start with 0. That's why we have 0 to 3. But total elements are what? 4 elements. So what is the length of this array? So the length of this array is 4. Okay. All right. So like if I want to add more elements, so what I will do? I will use this array name, okay, ARR, and I will use here square bracket, okay, and here I will write index, on which index you want to insert an element. So I'm writing here, I will insert an element at 4 index, and which element you want to insert? I want to insert 50 here. Okay, so if I write here console.log and ARR, what will happen? It will display my all the elements. Okay, it is displaying me like this 50 as well. So 50 also it is displaying. Okay, if you want to add more elements, you can also add, but you need to mention the index. Index means location, at which location you want to add, okay, like 60. So it has added 60. Okay, like that we can insert element in array. Okay, and another way is, okay, insert element directly, and we have another method which is push method. Okay, so suppose if you don't know the index of the element, so what you can do, if you will follow this approach, means you need to mention the index, okay, and then you will write the element. Okay, but suppose if you will not, if you don't know about the index, so what you can do, you will write here ARR dot push. If you will write ARR dot push, okay, so automatically this push method will add the element at the last. Okay, so this array having how many elements? For example, let me just create uh, in comment creating array. So this array containing elements like 10, 20, 30, 40, okay, and 50 and 60, because 50 also we have given and 60 also we have given. Okay, so if you will push any element from here, so the 70th element will push. So this is what 70 element. Okay, so like that it is count, right? And if you want to push more element, you can write here push method. Okay, like add. All right. So we can use push method. All right. So can you please tell me what's the length of this array? Okay. So if we talk about till here, we have how many elements? We have 60 elements in this array. So let me just copy it. This is what comment. This comment is not readable by the browser. This comment is for our reading purpose. Okay, so that we can read while reading our code, we can understand our. Okay, so that's why we write comments. Okay, comments are for users. I mean for programmers. Alright, so this is what 70 and this is what 80. Okay, so can you please tell me what's the length of this array? So if we talk about indexing, what is the position of each element? So this is the 0 position, 1 position, and this is the 2 position, 3 position, 4 and 5 and 6 and 7. Okay, so if I ask you like what is the length of this array? Okay, so can you please tell me what will be the length? So length will be what? Like how many total elements are there? 8 elements. Okay, till 7 location we have, and 0 also we will in. So how uh, what is the length of this array? 8. So how you will print the length of the array? Okay, so how you will print means you will write here console.log, and you can write arr.length. Okay, so it will print array length is what? 8. Okay, it is printing array length is 10. I mean 8. Okay, so suppose for example, if I take length, okay, arr.length, and if I'm writing here 2 or 3, suppose I'm writing here 2, okay, and I'm writing here console.log. Okay, I'm just commenting out this log. Okay, so it is not printing anything right now. So can you please tell me, if I will write here arr, so how many values it will bring? How many values it will bring? So see, what's the original length of this array? 8. But what we did, we modified the length. We modified the length variable. The length is what? This variable. So we modified this variable with 2. So how many values it will print? It will print now 10, 20, and 30. Okay, so it will print 0 to 2 position value. Okay, so if I will write here arr, so see what it is printing. Okay, it is not printing 30. Okay, it will print 2 values only. Okay, 10 and 20 it is printing. Suppose if I decrease the length by 1, so what will happen? It is printing only 10 elements. I mean 1 element it is printing. If I write here 0, 0 means it is not printing anything. Okay, so you can modify the length as well. Okay. So like that, if you want to delete these elements, so you can do by decreasing the length. Okay. Suppose you are writing 3, so what will happen? Only 3 elements will print, because what is the length of this array now? The length of this array is 3. Okay, so if you will see here, so it will print full, like all the elements, because here length is what? 8, but here length is what? 3. So this is how we can delete. By modifying the length we can delete, but this is not the good way, but you can follow this approach as well. Okay, and if you want to delete an element, if you want to delete an element from the array, so what you can do? Okay, where is our array? Okay, let me just comment out everything. Let me create one more array here. So I will write here let arr. Okay, here I am writing 10, 20, 30, 40, 50. Okay. Suppose I want to delete 50. I want to delete 50. So what I will do? Console.log. Okay, so if I will print arr, so it is printing like all the elements. Okay, and what's the length? 5. The length is what? 5. And how you will print the length? Just simply write here dot length. Okay, so it is printing length is 5. Alright. Suppose if I want to delete this 50. So what can I do? I can write here arr dot length. Okay, and I can modify the length by 4. If I will write here 4, so 50 is deleted. If you want to delete 40 and 50, what you will do? You will write just 3. Okay, 3 means it will print 3 elements. Okay, 10, 20, and 30. Okay, so if you want to print only 2 elements, just modify length by 2. So it is printing 2 elements, right? But I don't want to use this elements. I don't want to use this method. So what you can do, you can write here arr dot pop. Okay, so if you will write arr dot pop, so it will delete the last element. Okay, and if you will write this arr.pop again, so again it will delete another element. If you will write it again, so again it will delete another element. So like that we can delete the element. Okay, okay, next thing what we have to do, the next thing is we have to okay, insertion. Okay, so we already seen how we can insert element with index. Okay, and let's see how we can insert an element in array with prompt. Okay, so for example, this is an array. Okay, so let me just comment it out. Let me create another array. Okay, I'm creating here another array. So let arr is equals to this. This is what empty array as of now. If you will see the output of this, if I write here, not here, but here, if I write here console.log, what will happen? It will not print anything. Okay, it is printing empty array. But here I want like I want element from the user. So what I will do? I will take element from the user. But how you will take element from the user? So in order to take the element from the user, I will write here prompt. Okay, I will write here prompt, and inside the prompt, I will write. Okay, when you write the prompt, so it will display this pop-up. Okay, and it is saying this IP address, and it is saying what say. But I don't want to write here say. I want to write a proper message. So if you want to write the proper message, just write in single quote or double quote inside the parenthesis. Enter an element. Enter an element. Okay, let me just cancel it and refresh it. So what it is displaying? Enter an element. It is displaying. Okay, so I want to enter an element like 10, but 10 it is not displaying here. I want to display here that 10 element. So what I will do, I will say ARR index 0. At index 0, what you do, okay, what you do, just put this element. Okay, as I already told you, the position of array started with 0. So right now no element is there. So what is the position? 0 position. At 0 position, what we want? We want to insert that element given by the user. Okay, so let me refresh it and let me write here an element which is 100. Let's press OK, and it is printing 100. But this 100 is what? A string or like number. It is not a number. It is what? A string. So if you are taking data from the prompt, so your data will be what? A string type. So if you want to convert this data into what number, so what you need to do? You need to parse it. Okay, so what you can do? You can convert it into what number. Okay, so either you can write here number or you can write parse int as well. Okay, so see, if I will write here, not here, but here, if I will write here 100 or 1000, so this will be enter inside what? This array. Okay, zeroth location of this array. All right. So if you want to take two inputs, what you will do? You will just copy it. Okay, and you will just one more time you will paste it. Okay, so let me give it like element 1, and this is what? Element 2. Okay, so element 1 at location 0 and ARR position 1. Okay, and element 2. So like that we can take two elements from user. Okay, and we can keep it said what? Array. Alright. So let me refresh this page. So I'm writing here 100 and press enter. 200, press OK or enter. You can click here or press enter. Okay, so how many elements we are getting? We are getting two elements. Okay, so we are getting two elements and it is printing two elements. Okay, suppose I don't know, I don't want to use this indexing method. Okay, this is what? Indexing, inserting with indexing. Okay, but I don't want to follow this approach. So what we can do? What we can do if you don't want to insert by this indexing? So here you can use push method. Okay, so what you will write? ARR dot push. Okay, and you write here element. Okay, what's the element name? Element 1. Okay, this element name is element 1. And the second element you can write ARR dot push. And you can write the second element. Okay. So like that also you can push. You can use this indexing or you can use push method. So let me just refresh this page. Okay, so here I am writing 10. I'm typing 10, press OK. and this is what second prompt for this line of code, for this line of code, and the second value is 10. So it is okay. I think it refreshed. Okay, so let me write 10 once again and 20 and press OK. What happening? Why it is arr dot push? Why it is not taking that? Okay, I think we did some mistake. Let me refresh it and type here 10, click OK, and 20 and click OK. So it is giving elements 10 and 20. So like that also we can push. Okay. And next method what we have to see next is what using input. Okay. I will create one input field. Okay. Let me tell you what is the idea. The idea is basically I'll create here one input field on the page. Okay. And here I will enter 10. Okay, and there will be a add button. I'll create one add button. So whenever I will click on add, so this data will add into my array like 10. Okay, next time I am writing 20 and press add, and this 20 will insert into my array. Okay, like that I want to implement. Okay, what we are learning, basically we are learning element insertion, how we can insert the element in array in different ways. Okay, so last way is what? Input field. So let me just create one input field. Let me just comment it out. Okay. Let me just comment it also. Okay, otherwise this prompt will come again and again. Okay. So what I want here, I want to create one input. So I need to write HTML now. And HTML we write in body section. Okay, so what I will write? Input field I will create. So when you write input, so this input field is coming. Okay, and I want to create one button. So button you will write. So button is coming. This button is coming. More text is there. That's why it is looking very small. So I will write here add. Okay, all right. And this input field I'll give one ID. Why I am giving this ID? Why I'll give the ID to this input field? So that I can uniquely identify this input. Okay, so for example, if I'm writing here value like 100. So this 100 value I have to fetch from this input field. So I will recognize or I will fetch this value with ID. So that's why I'm giving here ID is what? Data 1. Okay, so data 1 ID I am giving. So whenever I will click on add, for example, I am entering here data like 100, and if I will press add, so this whatever data is there, it should add inside what? Array. So what I will do here, I'll create one function using only. When someone clicking on this button, so like some demo function should. So I'll go to the JavaScript tag. Okay. I will go to the script tag, and here first of all I'll create one function. Okay. So creating the function there are different ways, but I'll use here tradition, and this is the demo. Now inside this demo, what we have to do, we have to write the code. What code we have to write? We have to write one code which can fetch this value. For example, 100 is there. I want to fetch this 100 from this input field. So how can I fetch? So if you want to fetch this value, so what you will write? Document dot get element by ID. Okay, so get element by ID is a method, and here you will mention the ID. So which ID we have given? Our ID name is data1. So I will write here data1. Okay. And whatever data will come, you will store inside a variable called like EL. Okay, element. Okay. So whatever data you are entering here, this is nothing but this is one value of this input field. So here also we need to mention this is what value. Okay. So I'm writing here what value. Now, what we have to do basically, there should be an array. what I said, we have to insert this data in what array. So we need to create one array now. So what I will do, outside the function, let me create outside the function. Let arr is equals to empty. This is what empty array. Okay. So what I will do, whatever element is coming, from the input field, I will push that element in what array arr dot. But if I'm writing here ABC, okay, means what I'm trying to say, whatever data is coming, if you are writing here 100, so this 100 will come as a, like 1000 will come as a string. So whenever I'm writing here ELE, I will convert it into what? Okay, and number type conversion I'm doing ELE, and after that, once it's pushed, once this element pushed in array, what I will do, I will write here console message, console.log, and print AR. So let me just write here 100. So what will happen? It is printing 100. Okay. So if I will print here console.log, here if I will print ARR, so initially what you will see? You will see empty array. Okay, right now this is what empty array. And if I write here 100, like 100, and if I add, so now this is what? This is array with one value. Okay. And if you want to add one more value, what you will write? You will write here 400. Any value you can write, you can. So like that we can insert element using what? Input field as. Okay. So suppose whatever data I'm inserting, I don't want to print here. I want to print it on alert, on one pop-up. So what we can do, we can write here alert. Okay, and we can write here element. So whenever you will push any element, so it will display here. So the element is coming here, right? Or what we can do, for example, let's do one thing, create one array. So let me just comment it out. Okay. So what I will do, I'll create one array, let ARR is equals to 10, 20, 30, okay, and 40, 50. This array I have. What I want now, I will write here index. For example, I'm writing here 0 index, and when I click on like I don't need to write here add, I will write here like display. Okay. So what I want to display that index element on the alert. Okay, so this is the elements, and if I ask you what will be the indexing of each element, so this is what 0 position, this is 1 position, and this is 2, 3, and 4. Okay, so this position, and here I will mention the indexing. Let me write here clear message inside the input box so that everyone can understand properly. So if you want to give message here, you will write here placeholder, and placeholder you can mention like enter index. So when you write enter index, so enter index is coming here. Okay. So I want to suppose if I'm writing here to index, and if I click here display, so what it should do, it should display like second position element, which is 30 on alert. Okay. So how we can implement this? Okay. So first of all, I need to take this index value from this input box. So how we can take? Using the get ID, get element by ID. So what I will write here, document dot get. Okay, document is nothing but this white screen you are seeing. This is our document. This is entire document. Okay, so if you want to take anything from this document, you will write here document and dot get element. You want to take element by id, you want to take element by class name, by tag name, anything you can use, but the simplest way is by id. So I will use here by id and mention the id. Now you need to check whether you have given any id to your input field or not. So we already given here id, which is data1. So with the help of this id we will write. So if you will write here data1 like this, it will not work. you need to mention it as a string. Okay, data one. Okay, and you need to store this inside an like variable. Let me write here variable, which is, let me write here index one. Okay, this is just a variable, but you are writing two. So two is what? Value of this input field. So mandatory you need to mention here dot value. Okay, then only it will bring the value from this input field. Okay, now what we have to do, whatever index is coming, we have to alert that index. Okay, so if I will write here ARR, and what I need to write here index. Okay, now what like for example, if I'm writing here 2 and if I click on display, all right, so when I'm clicking on display, so there is a function which is function demo function is there. So we need to create one demo function. So whenever I click on this display, demo function will invoke. Okay, so let me create here demo function. So see, if you have little knowledge of like JavaScript, then you can easily understand this. And if you're not able to understand it properly, please write the comment. So I will teach you the basics concept, then I will teach you this much thing. Okay. So I need your valuable feedback in comment box. So you can give me your feedback. Okay, whatever topic you are not understanding, whatever part you are not understanding of this video, you can comment it out. So what I will do, I'll just cut it. Okay, where is cut? Okay, and I'll create the function. Before writing this, I'll create this demo function, because when you click on this display, this demo function will call, and inside this demo function, I'll write these two things. Okay, so now what is the indexing? This is nothing but indexing of this array. This is what index. Okay, this is what index. So here, if I will write here two index, so which element it should alert? It should alert 30. It should display 30. Okay, when I'm writing here alert, so it is displaying me what? 30, right? So when I'm writing here zero index value, so what is the zero index value? Nothing but 10. So it is displaying me 10. Okay, so if you will write here any other index value which is like 4. Okay, so what it will display? It will display 50. But suppose you don't want to display it on alert. If you want to display it on console, that is also you can do console.log or console.warn. You can write, no issue at all. ARR dot ARR and index. So it will display. For example, let me write here index value which is 2. Click on display. So it is displaying 30. So if you want to display another element, like fourth position element, click on display, it is display. If you want to display zeroth position element, so it will display. And if you will display like ninth position element, which is not available, what it is displaying? Undefined. Okay, it is displaying undefined. Suppose if you don't want to display it here, you want to display it on document. So instead of writing this, what you can write? You can write here document dot write. As I said, this is nothing but document. So in document, I want to write. So I will call document dot write, and here I will write like ARR index. Okay, and which index, whatever index I'll give, based on that, it will display that date. Okay, so it is displaying 10. Okay, but it will override this. Okay, okay, and if you want to display another element like third position element, so it is displaying here. So like that we can do. All right, now let's understand how we can display this elements, how we can display this all elements, like how we can traverse, how we can visit this all elements. Okay, now what we are going to learn, we will learn traversing. So how we can traverse the data? So we have different ways to traverse the data. Let me show you one of the ways. Okay, so if we talk about traversing, traversing. Okay, so traversing is nothing but visiting each element, visiting each element. Okay, so how you can visit each element? So you can use very simple method which is while loop. Okay, you can use while loop. Okay, and another method you can use do while loop. Okay, because in JavaScript we have do while loop. Okay, and another way is you can use for loop. Okay, and another way is you can use for in loop. Okay, and another way is you can use for off loop. Okay, and another way is you can use for each loop. Okay, so these are the ways you can use in order to traverse the array. Okay, or we can say visit the array. Okay, so let's implement this while loop. How we can visit an array with while loop. Okay, so for example this is my array and I want to traverse this array with while. Okay, let me write here comment traversing with while. Okay, alright. Okay. So how we can use while loop? So whenever you are writing while loop, let me just delete this input field because we have done with this code. Okay. So now how we can use while loop? So whenever you use while loop, you need one start. Okay, you need one start value. So start value is what? Zero. Why? Because our array values are starting from zero. That's why we are taking start value is zero. Okay, now it will ask the end value. What is your end value? So end value is what? 4. Okay, but here we can clearly see what is our end value, which is 4. But suppose if you have big large amount of data in this array and you don't know the size of the array, then how you will get to know what is the last value? So start and what we can say end value. So you can find end value with length, arr dot length. Okay, so when you write arr dot length, so what's the length of this array? 10, 20, 30, 40 means how many elements are there? 5 elements. But what is the position? 4 position. Total length is what? 5. But position is starting with 0. That is why the length is what? Length is, it is, okay, if you will write here end, so it will say 5. So, but we have to stop this indexing with 4 because at fourth location we have our last element. So here I will write what? Minus 1. So minus 1 means 4. Okay, means your loop will start with 0. Okay, it will start with 0 and it will stop at what? It will stop at 4. Okay, so what we are talking about? We are talking about while loop. Let's create while loop now. So in order to create the while loop, we need to write one keyword which is while. Okay, I hope this text will be visible. Now write the parenthesis. Okay, now write the starting point. Okay, starting point is start variable name start. Okay, and when you want to stop, while means like we can say like till how many time you want to execute this one. Okay, so we are saying here start this loop and execute this loop until you will not reach to the end. Okay, until you will not reach to the end. Okay, start and until don't stop until you don't reach to the stop. You have to begin with start and you have to end with end. Okay, end value is what? 4. Start value is what? 0. So how many we have to execute this loop from 0 to 4. So what we are doing, we are mentioning start, okay, nothing but we are mentioning here start, okay, and we are mentioning here end. Okay, execute until you will not get the end. Okay, so this is what we are saying. Alright, whatever values are between, just execute, just traverse them. Okay, and here what I will do. So what is my like start value? Start value is 0, but next time we have to increase the value by 1. So next value is 2, then 3, then 4, 3 and 4. Okay, up to 4 we have to increase which value? Start value, not the end value, because we have to reach up to the end, but we have to increase the start. So what I will do in order to increase the start, here I will write, okay, here I will write start plus plus. Start plus plus means we are increasing the start value, but when we are increasing the start value, after writing console.log, after printing what? ARR dot. Okay, start value is nothing but index. What is the index? 0. So ARR dot start I will write. Okay, and start will increase, then it will move to the another index. Okay, so console.log I'm writing here, and it should display me like this elements of the array. So let me refresh it. Okay, so it is hanging right now. Let's just close it, open new tab. Let me paste the copied URL. Okay, let me just open the spec means console. So as you can see here, it is printing. Okay, it is printing all the elements 10, 20, 30, 40 and 50. So but I don't want to print it on black screen. I want to print it on a document. So as I told you, if you want to print anything on document, what you will write? In order to print on document, you will write document dot write. Okay, when you write document dot write, so here you can use like this template literal you can use. Okay, this symbol you can get below of the skip key or at the top of the tab. Okay, this symbol you will get. So if you will use this symbol, so whatever data you want to print, you will write dollar symbol and this curly braces, and inside the curly braces you will write whatever you want. Okay. So what it is printing? It is printing all the values like 10, 20, 30, 50. Okay. But I don't want to print like this. I want to add one BR tag. Okay, so like this is what we are writing on document. So this document understand our HTML thing. Okay, if you want to make it bold, so what you can do? You can write here like strong tag or H1 tag. Okay, like H1 tag also you can write. So like that we are printing. So like that we are printing these values. Okay. Suppose if you also want to print index, so what you can do? Just do one thing. Create here dollar. See, press dollar. Okay, and press curly braces. Click on curly braces, and here mention start. Okay. So it is displaying what? Index. But it is not looking good. Let me write here like this. Okay, so it is printing 0 index. And if you want to write something, so also you can write like index. Okay, and here you can mention value. So like that also you can. Okay, index and value it is print. Let me just close this. So it is printing what? Index and value, right? Okay. And see, when you are writing start, so it is not looking good. So instead of start, because start is targeting all the index, so it's better to give meaningful name. So I am replacing start with index, and here also I will write index. So it's better to use suitable name. Okay, so here also I will write index because I replace start with index. Okay, and here start means index. So you can write this. Okay, so let me refresh so that bring all the values. Why all the values are not? Okay, let me figure out. So we are writing here index. Okay, values are should bring all the values. Why it is bringing all the values? Okay. So what we are doing? We are writing a start plus plus. So start plus plus means start. There is no variable called start. there is an index variable. So index initial value is what? 0. So that is why it is displaying 0, and it is displaying 0 position element, and we are not increasing it. So that's why it is stuck. So let me write here index. I hope you are understanding. Basically, just what we are doing, we are giving the name. I'm giving the different name, okay, or meaningful name. So like that also you can. Okay. So this is one way. And what is another way? Another way is using do while. Okay. So if you will display with do while loop, let me just close this. Let me just keep this array with, okay, take this array. Okay. Second is what? Using do while loop. Okay. So let me write here do while loop. Let me comment it. Otherwise, it will give error. Okay. So let me just paste this already created array. Okay. So start and end. Okay. So let me use here do while. So when you write do while, so you write do first, and then in last you write while. Okay. And in while you write condition. Okay. So if your condition is false, still it will execute one time. Okay. There's a difference between while loop and do while loop. While loop always execute when condition is true, but do while loop can understand, I mean, can execute one time even though condition is false. Okay, but we will write here correct condition, which is start less than. Okay, we will not create start variable. See, we didn't create any variable, so we need to create one variable index. So our index is starting from which position? 0th position, and it is ending with 4. Okay, so either you can write here let like end is what? 4. Okay, because we can clearly see it. But if you are unsure about ending point, so what you can write? Arr dot length minus 1. Okay, so length is the total length. So total length is what? 5. 5 minus 1 is 4. So nothing but, this is nothing but I have written here 4. Okay, so here what you want to do? What you want to do? Just mention here. Okay, like for example, where this condition index less than is equals to end. Until this condition is true, what you want to do? I want to write here document dot write. Okay, document dot write, and see, you can write directly without template literal. You can directly write arr and index. Okay, okay, but nothing is happening right because this is stuck. This has been stuck. So what I will do, I'll just copy this URL, okay, and I will refresh it. I mean, I will open new tab and I'll close this previous tab. I'll paste this and press enter. Okay, so again it is showing stucking. Why? Because we are not increasing the index value. Our index value is here again and again, and this condition is true because 0 is less than, what is the end value? End value is 4. 0 is always less than 4. We have to increase what? Start value by 1. After printing this, we have to print, I mean, we have to increase the index value. Okay, so it got stuck. Just open it in tab and refresh and paste it, and it is coming like this. Okay, so but this is not looking good. That is why I hope you are understanding it clearly. That is why, in order to make it more readable, we use here templating. Okay. So on the top of the tab key, you will find this symbol tilde operator. Okay, and it will not print the data. Okay, if you want, it will print the data whatever you want to print. Right here, dollar symbol and curly braces. You have to wrap it with curly braces. Okay, now it is print. Okay, and if you want to print it with like what we can say, like H3 tag, you want to apply H3 tag, you can apply whatever tag you want to apply. You can apply. So it is coming like this. And if you want to write any other thing, so that is also you can write like index. Okay. But what is the index? Index means like this value. Whenever you want to print the values, so you will use this dollar symbol and curly braces. And here mention the value. So value is nothing but index. Okay, so now it is coming index properly. And here I want to print value, but you will write value. What's the mean of value? Value means like this. It is printing value. Just write here one message value. So it is printing value. If you want to put a space between, so you can write symbols like this. Okay. So it is printing this data like this. Next, what is the next thing? Next thing is what? For loop. Okay. So I mean for loop, we have to see how you can print the data with for loop. Let me just comment it out. Let me just copy it and comment it. Okay. Let me just write here. Third is what? Okay. Third or fourth? Is it third or fourth? It is what? Third. Okay. So third is what? For loop. Using for loop. So how we can print the array data with for loop? So what you need to do is very simple. Just write here for keyword. For is nothing but a keyword. And here write create one variable. Okay, I'm creating here I variable. Okay. But this variable, this I variable, you have to mention. I you can say or index you can say. You have to mention here start with 0. So let me write here 0. Started with 0. Now you have to tell where we have to end it. So end it with 4. So either you can use I less than is equals to 4. Okay, but you are not sure. You are not sure what is the ending point, but here you can clearly see. But suppose if you are not sure what is the ending point, so what you will do? You can use here arr dot length. Okay, you can use arr dot length. Okay, so when you write arr dot length, so what is the index value? What is the length of this? 5. But what is the last index? 4. So it will print here 5 because array length is 5. So either you can write here minus 1. Okay, minus 1. So minus 1 means 5 minus 1 means ending point will be 4. Okay. Otherwise, what you can do, you can write here, you can delete equals to from here. Means I should less than with this way, with this length. Okay, let me remove here 1. So what is the length? 5. But I should less than 5. Means if I is 4, that is okay. But I value become 5, then it will false. Okay. So I value will become 5 or 4. How it will become? We need to increase the I now. So here in last, we will mention here I plus. And it is having curly braces, nothing but body of the loop. And what you will do here, if you want to print on document, will write document dot write. Okay. And you can use templating here. And here you can write H1, not H1, S3. Okay, S3 close. And here you can write like first of all I will write here index. So who is printing the index? I. Okay, I is nothing but index. So let's write here I. So it is printing all the index. Or if you want to write here message, this is what index. So that is also you can do. Okay. But I don't want to print only index. I want to print here values. Okay. So if you want to print here values, so you need again write here dollar symbol and curly braces. And inside this, you will write what you will write array name arr, and in the square braces, you will write I. Okay. So it is printing values. So, but before writing values, just write one message called value and give some space. Okay. So like that, it is print. Okay. So if you will write here is equals to, so means it will go beyond. It means it is going to 5. It is printing fifth index as well, but at fifth index, there is no value. What you can do, you can discard the last value by writing minus 1. Okay. Either you can do this, otherwise if you are not doing this, what you can do, you can remove this is equals to. Is equals to means less than 5. Less than 5 means 4. fourth index. Okay. I hope you are clear with this. Okay, next is what? Next is what? For in loop. Okay, for in loop is very simple. Let's see for in loop. Let me just, okay, comment it out. And let me just paste this array. And this is what? Fourth. Fourth is nothing but for in loop. So let me comment it out first. Okay. So now what we have to do? We have to use for in loop. So just write here for, okay, and here write like index. This is index is nothing but a variable. So variable we create using let, and in what is your array name? Here you will write array name which is AR. Okay. So what it is printing? Suppose if I will print index, so what it will obviously print index. So let me write here document dot write. So if I will write here document dot write, and let me templating here h3 h3 rows. Okay. And let me type here index. So if you will write here index means it will print index only. So if you want to print this index variable data, so you will use here dollar symbol curly braces. So dollar symbol curly braces means it is printing what? Index. But how you will print values? How you will print the values? So what you will write simply, you can write this template literally, I mean literal, and here you will write your array name and you will write index. And same here also you can give value, and here also you can give index. Okay. So this is just another way to accessing the element of array. So when you write in like for in loop, so for in loop gives you indexes. Okay. This variable bring the indexes from here. Okay. So let me just copy one more time. Let's copy it till here. Remaining thing. Okay, let's understand one more loop. What is another loop? Okay, for another is what? For of. When you write for of loop, it is similar to for in. Okay, so let's just write for and write here let variable, and here write value of AR. So this loop, when you are writing for of, so it will bring the values from the loop. What is the values like 10, 20, 30? For in loop, when we use for in loop, so it brought indexes. But when we are using for of, so it will brought values. Okay. Okay. So if you want to print it, just write here document dot write. Okay. And use here templating, and use here dollar symbol, and here write simply value. Okay, so it is printing values. Let me use here h3 tag and h3 tag rows. So it is printing what? Values. Okay, it is printing values from this array. All right. The next loop is what? What is next loop? Let's see what's the next loop. Next loop is for each loop. So let's talk about for each loop. So for each loop, let me just write here for each. Okay, E should be capital. So let me create here for each loop for each. So for each loop syntax is this. Okay. So whenever you write for each loop, you will write your array dot. Okay, you will write what? Array dot. Okay, because this for each loop we are applying on array, so that is why we will write here for each. I mean arr dot for each. Okay, and it takes one function, takes one callback function. Okay, so either you can write here function and like this you can do. Okay, otherwise you can mention here arrow function. Arrow function is parenthesis and is equals to and this array. And this extra parameters are, let me write another time syntax. So here we will write ARR and for each, we'll write here for each, and we will write here what we can say this parenthesis. Okay, and this is the syntax. Okay, so this for each loop, what it gives value as well as it will give index. Okay, so if you want to print this value and this index, so this value belongs to whom and this index belongs to whom. So this value belongs to this array and this index belongs to the same array. Okay, whatever we are writing array. Okay, so here also we will write document dot write, okay, and templating, and here I will write h3 tag, and if you will write here value, so it should print value actually. Okay, so it is printing value, but you already know why it is printing value instead of actual values, because we are not using this dollar symbol. Okay, so it is printing values. Suppose if you want to print index as well, so what you will do simply just again write here dollar symbol and write here index. So it is printing index, but before index you want to write here index as well, and before this you want to write here value as well. Okay, so like that. Okay, so with the help of for each loop we are printing. Okay, so there are different like higher order functions like map and like and other functions as well, but we are not discussing right now. So we have discussed these basic things. Okay, so for this video what we have covered, we have covered about array data structure, and in array data structure we have seen how to create an array with different ways and how we can push an element like using directly push index prompt the input field we used, and how we can traverse an array. So while loop we have seen, do while loop, for in loop, for off loop, for each loop. So these things we have seen already, okay, in this video. And now you have to comment it out if you have seen this video till here. So you want to understand this for loop, do while loops in detail, or like you already have knowledge about these loops. It means if you have basic JavaScript knowledge, so I can assume you already understand these loops. Okay, and if you are not understanding anything, please comment it out. I will create video according to your doubt. Okay, and one more thing, in the next video we will apply operations on this array data structure. Array data structure is not finished yet. We will perform operation, math operation we will perform, and also we will try to solve lead code count. Okay. Alright, so thank you everyone for watching this video. If you have any doubt, suggestion or any feedback, you can give in comment section. Alright, thank you for giving your value.